R09.
Hello and welcome back to R09 Roundtables. This is a special episode of our roundtable on the Mandalorian, chapters 5 and 6. I'm Ryan.
Kahari.
And Justin.
Let's get after it. All right, guys, let's start with chapter 5, the Gunslinger. What are you guys' first impression of that particular chapter?
There were some things I really liked, and there were some things that I felt didn't necessarily need, but it's one of those episodes that, for me, I think is a very throwback episode. There's a lot of things that we get that were like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that from 2. I remember that from New Hope. I remember that from, whatever movie, but to me, that was the big part of it, and then obviously the end, I think, is going to come into play of that episode in the future.
Right.
But most of what I think went on in the episode, I liked it as an episode. I don't know that as a whole episode it's going to mean a lot in the long run.
Right.
I guess the throwbacks are parts that I love about the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Like when he gets on the con with the guy and he says, most likely spaceport, I'm like, oh man.
Right.
They're taking it all the way
was
back
big.
to
Right.
where it
That was
started.
big.
So I kind of thought that was interesting, from that standpoint. Also, like, how when this guy's chasing him and he slams on the brakes and the guy flies away, he says, that's my line.
That's my line.
And,
Yeah, that was cool.
and blows him away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a good opening. It was the first time we got like a space battle type
Right.
opening, which was
Right.
cool to see. But yeah, I think this episode is really about the throwbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Tatooine.
Right.
We get to see him coming out the red door that could have
Right.
been the one that Han Solo and
Right.
Chewbacca were stationed in, and Luke and Obi-Wan and C-3PO and R2-D2 go
Right.
through.
Right.
So it's cool little things like that. And for the first time, we see that the Empire is really not welcome anymore.
Right. The stormtrooper helmets on the spikes.
And we saw that through all the trailers, but we had never seen it in the episode,
Right.
so we finally got that. Overall, I think this was an episode that just didn't advance the plot a whole lot more.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those throwback episodes that they just wanted to
We get the
remind us.
cantina.
Yeah, we get the cantina. Remind us that we're in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And we're in this universe.
Said remind you in Star
Right.
Wars.
The
That's
speeder
insinuating.
bikes.
Right, all that stuff.
All that stuff that throws back to.
And really, I think my least favorite part of this episode was the new bounty hunter who was trying to get into the guild.
Yeah.
Just didn't like him. Like,
Yeah.
I think he was supposed to be Han Solo-esque,
Right.
but he couldn't pull it off.
No, he didn't have
Well,
the charisma.
Han Solo trying to pull that off is
True.
This ain't happening.
You
But
shouldn't try.
Right.
That's the issue.
Right,
You
don't try.
shouldn't try.
the part that was kind of interesting to me was, I'm thinking like you're in the guild. You want to get into the guild, you've got to have some skill. He comes in and says, "You can take all the money." Like he's a fraud. Like he wants Mando to catch the
And do all the work.
and so he
Yeah.
can get in.
Yeah.
And so you kind of see that, as we'll get further in when they're going to catch the person that's on the puck.
Right.
You're like the dude has no skill, and so
Right.
And again, this is also one of those episodes that we're introducing people
Right.
and then they're gone.
Yes.
We
Yes.
don't get any more of Baby Yoda, and we're introducing this new bounty hunter, and then the other bounty hunter, and then the one kills the other,
Right.
and then
Mando kills the other
so
one.
they're both gone.
Yeah.
And I think the probably the most important part of this episode is the very end, like you talked
Yes.
before
Yes.
you jump to that, I do think that when they're going to track the bounty hunter, it just shows you how skilled and experienced Mando
Yeah,
is,
I would
because
agree
he
with that.
has a solution
Right.
for every situation.
Yep.
So like the woman, he says, he knows, like, listen, we're going after her. He knows everything she's gonna
Yeah.
do. And I love the part where he throws like the shot grenades into the air and it blurs her vision.
Yeah, so she can't get a clear shot.
Then you see how strong that steel is. I mean, he took some direct
Yes.
hits.
Yes.
And that just one. So you kind of see how powerful that steel is. But I just
Yeah.
think it just shows
Yeah.
how he's just been through the ropes and he really understands how to handle all these different situations.
Right.
That's
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then I think then that does bring us to that kind of end of the episode where
10 seconds of
it's you hear the spurs and you see the feet walk up and
Who'd you think of immediately?
There's only one person you
I
can
know.
possibly think of,
I
and
know.
that's Boba.
Yeah.
And because he's the only one that we've ever had that associated with.
Yeah, and they wouldn't do that for no reason.
Yeah, so as you guys already know, I went back and I watched all 8 episodes this weekend. And sure enough, when you see Boba taking Han Solo and Carbonite from Cloud City, you hear the spurs clanking.
Of the spurs,
So it's the only time we've ever heard that other than at the end of this episode. So there's no other conclusion you can draw. Now, whether they're doing that just to mess with us because so much of this episode is, hey, do you remember this?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it could be. We thought we saw Boba Fett in the first episode.
Right.
So it really could be him. And you kind of wonder what his motivations are at this point. You know, who's he working for? Is he working on his own? Is he working for the Empire?
Right.
All that's in play at this point. And we kind of don't know what his end goal is. We don't even know if it really is him. We're just speculating.
Right.
And so that kind of
Right.
is a mystery at this point.
Right. And, you know, other interesting thing with it, too, I was talking to a buddy after watching everything, and Boba's not a real Mandalorian. He was a clone of Jango, and Jango himself was a foundling.
Right.
So do we, you know, at this point, do we have different sects of Mandalorians doing different things? Are they working together? Are they against each other? I mean, that could come into play and become an interesting storyline in the future.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with that, and to see if Boba Fett really becomes part of this show.
Right or not.
And I know that, you know, as we come to episode 9 here in 2 days.
Yeah.
I did hear that one of the characters from the originals was going to be in this in the Mandalorian
the Wednesday episode.
So we'll see Wednesday night, tomorrow night. Yeah. We'll see if that actually happens.
Right.
But I think that kind of wraps up chapter 5. That really wasn't there wasn't a lot in chapter 5 for us.
No.
So what did you guys think of chapter 6 of The Mandalorian?
You want to go first, or?
You know, I think that ultimately this is the first time where you see like Mando's coming to the job and he's not in control.
Yeah.
And you can clearly tell that it bothers him because when he's in control, he has all the variables planned out. Mm-hmm. Then you see he's got a little former old flame, an old love interest. So
it's crazy.
I kind of wonder how that exactly works.
Oh my God!
The dude never takes his helmet off. I'm from his side of it.
Right.
Never takes his helmet off.
Right.
And
like, did she kiss the helmet or something?
Like, I don't know. It's just I don't know.
Well, the other guy does ask her, you know, have you seen him without the helmet?
Oh, that's right. He does. They make a joke
she's
about
like,
that.
This is the way. She
mocks him. Right.
But we get a couple instances of mocking in this episode, which I love. My favorite part's when they made fun of Gungans.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was really funny.
That was funny. And the other one too, where he gets introduced to the guy who's in charge of the mission. He's like, he was an Imperial sharpshooter.
Oh, yes.
And he's like,
finally.
Oh, that'll go well. And he's like, not a stormtrooper.
Right. It was the first time they actually admitted that stormtroopers are horrible shot.
Right.
It was really funny to see that. So I like that part of it. Kind of goes back with chapter 5 and the throwbacks, but this was kind of, I think, more fun for us.
It was more, it was kind of tongue in cheek.
Stuff. I like that.
But it does show you, like we said in chapter 5, Mando's got a plan for every situation.
Yeah.
And so we know that they're doing this mission,
and he can think on the fly.
Right. That to me is his best attribute.
Because when they were getting attacked by the droids, they're all like, "What do we do?" And all of a sudden, he comes around from the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that ultimately, we know that they're going to extract this high value target.
Yeah.
And they think they're going to capture somebody. They're going to free him, which he doesn't know all the variables. And so they end up double crossing him.
Yeah.
Right. It ends up being somebody that he left on a planet during a mission.
Right.
You know, basically
so
saying, this had to be that way.
There somehow. Yeah.
So I think for me, one of the big things about the episode is the characters.
Yeah.
Every character in it really stands out as their own character.
Yep.
They're, and you get some of the basic, the standard stuff that you get. There's the big guy. There's the,
Right.
the girl. There's, you get some of that, but they all stand out so well as their own.
They all have very specific personalities.
Yeah.
But again, it's characters introduced.
Yeah.
Characters goodbye.
Right. And
you get that again. Even though I like these
Right.
characters better, they definitely they were better than chapter 5 episodes.
Right.
And those characters I didn't like.
Right.
But these characters I really did like,
Right.
and I thought they did a good job developing them with the time that they had.
Right.
But it's still, here's some new characters.
Now they're gone.
Now they're gone, and
Right.
I mean, we know.
Right.
2 of them are dead.
Right.
Blown up.
Right.
And then the other
they're
are
floating away in the freighter.
Yeah, they're in the
which I was mentioning to you. I wonder if they come back into play at some point.
Yeah.
Like, because they are such good characters, and they left those 3 on that shot of looking out of the bar.
I can see them coming back in season 2.
Yeah. I don't necessarily mean this season, but
I can see them
coming back into play.
But I do think it's also interesting too, how the droid kind of finds out this Baby Yoda is a high priority target.
I love that scene.
That was great. That was great.
And so, it's hilarious.
And so he's going down there. Go ahead.
Just
I can tell you want to tell it. Go ahead.
He's chasing. He's he's going after the Baby Yoda. And the Baby Yoda's hiding and stuff. And he ends up in his little bed area, I guess, for lack of anything else to call it. And he just raises his hand he's trying to use the force.
I was like, yes.
I'm thinking, what is he about? Is he about to force push it through the wall?
Right.
What's he gonna do? Then all of a sudden, man will just
blast the guy from the back.
The best part of that, though,
at the end.
Yeah.
And Yoda just looks at his hand. What did I do?
He's like, man, what kind of powers do I have?
Yeah, that was great.
Right. That scene was hilarious.
But again, what I'll say about Mando too that I love is that when he brings the dude back, he leaves a tracking device in his pocket.
Yep.
And they come in, they light that place.
But I think this episode proved, just like the earlier ones did, that we want to see Yoda. We want to see Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
That's maybe why I like this episode better than chapter 5, because neither episode had a lot of plot development.
Right.
But this one had more of Baby Yoda and what this creature can do, and just the interactions were great. And I think that's what made. I mean, I remember talking about chapter 2.
Right.
And him floating in the pod behind him and stuff interacting with Mando, which was great.
While you're bringing up chapter 2, just because it's on my top of my head now, because I watched all the episodes again. Chapter 2, he fights the Mudhorn, right?
Yeah.
It mirrors an image in episode 3 where Jango Fett ends up in the arena and he's fighting the
That's
big.
episode 2, right?
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. Sorry, where he ends up in the arena. And he's fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's a Mudhorn, but it's the same
Similar,
creature with the
on
horn and everything.
front.
It mimics, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." They must have pulled that out of there, and I didn't even realize it.
There's no thing you have to watch it over and over again to catch all the subtleties that are in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, chapter 5 and 6 really didn't take us anywhere.
Right.
They gave us a lot of things that we. Like fan service, we needed to see like some of the throwbacks and some good comedic moments, especially in chapter 6. And I thought we were going to get to see a little bit more of Yoda and what he can do. Yeah. But I think we're getting to that point now. Yeah. It definitely brought me back, because chapter 5 I wasn't a huge fan of. Chapter 6 brought me back in.
So I enjoyed both. When you put them together, they really work well. I think as. Yes, it's somewhat filler in a way. It doesn't necessarily progress the who is Baby Yoda, where is he taking him. Right. But it lets us in on more of the universe. It reminds us of things. And I think it really does, again, show us who the Mandalorian is. Because he lets those 3 who backstab him live. He just locks them up, but then he's not going to let those last 2 guys live.
Right, yep.
Like, for whatever reason, he's like, nope. Like,
sorry.
you're not surviving this. So it just lets you in on, like, he obviously has things that he's okay with and he understands as part of what they do, and other things that, nope, that's going the wrong way. It crosses the line, and now you're done.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that kind of wraps up our discussion, our roundtable on chapters 5 and 6 of The Mandalorian. Please let us know what your thoughts are on chapter 5 and chapter 6.
Open dialogue.
Open dialogue. Leave some comments. Remember to like our page, subscribe to our page.
Roll 9.
Find us on both Twitter and Instagram and Facebook also.
Yes.
At R09 Studios.
R with the 0.
Yep, that's right. And
R09.
just tell us what you think. We want to know your thoughts on The Mandalorian. And before we go, episode 9. 2 days.
Yep. Can't wait.
2 days.
Can't wait.
2 days. This is R09 signing off.
R09.